Good afternoon, everyone. This is René Nourse, and welcome to our Smart Women Savvy Money webinar series, our 2010 series. 30 minutes on the clock, 20 minutes to teach, and 10 to talk. This obviously is a very popular topic because we had a tremendous amount of people that signed up for this talk today. And depending on what kind of feedback we get, we may decide to have a second part because there's a lot of data that we're going to be going over, and I'm going to try to squeeze it in a short period of time. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. You have a chat box, so you can feel free to ask questions along the way. Hopefully we'll have enough time towards the end where we can do exactly that. Our Smart Women Savvy Money webinar series is hosted the second Thursday of every month, except for December, because we know you guys are busy, between 1 and 1:30 Pacific time. We generally have people calling from all over the country, so we know that the timing can be a little bit of a challenge, but as long as you register for our series, we will send you the replay link. You might have already heard that it was being recorded. So, having said that, I do want to share with you some of the upcoming events that we have hosted. And when you come to our website, you can go to the event screen or page, and here you'll be able to see some of the upcoming talks. Next month, we will actually have a talk about the new Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. I think we've had enough time to try to figure out what the ins and outs of this new tax law is going to be. And aside from the fact that it benefits a lot of businesses, there are some benefits that we can see as individual taxpayers. And so that is going to be hosted by a CPA, Bella Wang, and she will be hosting and posting actually a blog here in the next week or so. In addition to that, and this one is going to be a real big one, how to combat sugar addiction. Sugar is just about in everything that we have, including, I was surprised to find out that it's also in salt. So with that, we'll have a conversation about what are some things that you can do to reduce your exposure to sugar, and what kinds of things that you need to eat in order to kind of get around that. Now, we also have a library of videos from our different sessions. Actually, I'm on the wrong page. But if you come into our slider here, if you've missed some of our previous webinars, you actually will be able to log in and see all of the ones that we've had in the past. We've had a tremendous, we have a tremendous library. So if there's any topics here that you see that are of interest, all you need to do is log in. If you haven't come in here before, then you can simply put in your name and your email address, and that allows us to open up the library. So with that said, let's get started because, like I said, there's a lot of content that we're going to cover today. And while we're going through this, I do want you guys to take notes. Now, you should have gotten also confirmation email asking you to, if you haven't already done so, to download your Social Security statement because we're going to look at that from the standpoint of how it is affecting you. A lot of times we get these statements, we have no idea what all of that stuff means and what the content actually is. So we will actually talk a little bit about that today. So let's get started. Making Social Security work for you. So here's some important points to consider and questions that you should be asking yourself. When should you apply? Can't tell you how many people say that as soon as they hit 62, which is the earliest age that you can apply for it, they apply. What if you want to keep working? That's kind of an important point. What if you've already applied? Can you change your mind? How much will your benefits be? Coordinating with spousal benefits. What's the best long-term strategy for your situation? And what do you do next? Some of the key elements we also ask people is, what is the longevity factor in your family? We all know that women live longer. But if you also have a situation where someone in your family has lived to 100 years old and a couple of people live to 100 years old, notwithstanding any other health issues that you might have, it might make sense to really look at this from a strategic standpoint and make sure that you're making the best decisions for yourself. So one of the first things you'll want to find out is, should you take it now or take it later? So here's some key points I want you to kind of take away from this, because we are going to take a look at a Social Security statement here. PIA, primary insurance amount. This is your base monthly benefit. It's first eligible and to be taken as a benefit at age 62. And it's based on your highest 35 years of earnings, not the last 35 years. So that's really kind of important for us as women, because we tend to have to be in and out of the workplace because we are raising families. Maybe we're caregivers for a period of time. So really focusing on those highest 35 years. And the base monthly amount is only available to you if you have reached your full retirement age, or FRA. So for 1956 birthers, baby boomers, and turning 62, or being full retirement age in 2018, then their benefit would be $2,927 a month. So here's the thing. When you're looking at that Social Security statement, sometimes we take it and we kind of toss it to the side. Your full retirement age is especially very critically important. If your full retirement age is 66, but let's say you were born in 1956 and you're not paying attention to the fact that you have to be 66 in 4 months, and you apply at 66, you're not going to get your full retirement benefit. So really taking a close look at that Social Security statement is really, really important. So the age at which you can apply for and get full unreduced benefits is full retirement age. And I'm going to show you a graph here in a minute that breaks out what full retirement age, what the impact is if you're not applying at that time. Claiming before that age is going to result in a lower monthly benefit, not just temporarily, but for the rest of your life, for as long as you are filing and receiving those benefits. If you claim after that age, you will get a higher monthly benefit, and it's like a nice pay increase. So here's an example. If you're applying at age 62 and your full retirement age is at 66, you're going to get 75% of that benefit for the rest of your life. It doesn't change. And similarly, as you can see, once you get up to age 66, you're getting 100% of your benefit. But let's say you wait a year, and your full retirement age, is 1 year later, and you apply at 62, which across the board is still the same for everybody. You're only going to get 70% of your benefits for the rest of your life. So looking at these ages is critical, and understanding how that works. Now here's the consequences of filing after your full retirement age. Guess what? You get an 8% increase. Where can you work, or where can you be right now where you're going to get an 8% raise in your income? Well, you can if you are applying for your Social Security benefits after your full retirement age. So here's an example here. If you're applying at age 66, you get 100% of your benefit. But let's say you wait until age 69. You're going to get 124% of that benefit. At age 70, which is a maximum age at which you can get a full benefit, is 132%. We're going to take a look at a Social Security statement so I can show you exactly what I mean by that. The other thing that happens is the cost of living adjustments still kick in. So if you have delayed taking your Social Security benefit and there's an annual cost of living increase, inflation kicks in, your statement does not indicate, because it doesn't know, what the cost of living increases are going to be. But you still get credited with those COLAs up until the time that you file. So you don't lose that opportunity to have an increased benefit. And, of course, once you do file, you do get the cost of living benefit. So let's take a picture and take a look at someone who has Wanda Worker. This is her Social Security benefit statement. And the first thing you'll see on your Social Security benefit statement on that first page is what you're going to get at full retirement age. In this case, she would get $1,851 a month. But we don't know what her full retirement age is until you get into this page. Now, we just talked about age 66 as an example, but in her case, it's 67. That's when she would get the full benefit. But you can also see that at age 70, her benefit will increase substantially if she waits until 70. But look at what the benefit will be at age 62. That's a substantial difference. The other thing that you want to pay attention to when you are looking at this is, and there's a lot of content in here, but maybe we'll address that in another session. You also want to make sure that your earnings record is up to date and correct. There are several scenarios because women are married, change their names. Sometimes their earnings will fall off. And also because we're taking time oftentimes out of the workplace, then there will be some years where there won't be any income showing. But again, remember, they're taking the 35 highest income earning years to calculate what your benefit's going to be. All right. Now, are you married? This is basic rule number 2. Strategize and thrive. Try not to do your planning on a one-on-one basis because if there's a substantial difference in the income between the two of you, you really will be able to leverage that. So generally speaking, a spousal benefit will be 50% of the worker's PIA, primary insurance amount, if the spouse applies at full retirement age. I know we're using these letters, but these are important. The primary worker must have filed for benefits, and the spouse must be at least 62 to get the reduced benefit or full retirement age in order to get the maximum full benefit. There's no delayed credits if you have a spousal benefit. Before I was just showing you that basically that 8% bump every year, but for spousal benefits, it doesn't apply, but it does apply for your own benefits. Here's an example. Jack has a primary, his insurance amount is $2,000. Jill's is $800. So she applies for her spousal benefit, and she'll get 50% of her husband's primary insurance amount, or $1,000. If your spouse's own benefit is higher, here's another strategy. You can file for a spousal benefit. Of course, you can wait, and then you file for your own when you are at a maximum age, let's say at 70, where you can get a bigger benefit. There are some exceptions. We don't have a lot of time to go into that, but there are some strategies around that. Next basic rule, if you are divorced, you can receive spousal benefits based on your ex's work record. Now, there's certain rules, obviously, that apply, and here they are. The marriage had to have lasted for at least 10 years or more. So if anybody is thinking about a divorce, if you can hang in there till the 10th year, and especially this is important if there's a significant difference in the income. You want to make sure you can be separated, not legally separate. Well, you can be legally separated, but you still want to be married for at least 10 years or longer in order to benefit from that. The person that's receiving the benefit has to be currently unmarried. Now, this is an interesting angle because you could have been married for 10 years and you remarried, maybe that lasted 2 years, and now you're unmarried. You can still claim based on the longer dated marriage, just as long as you're unmarried at the time that you apply. The ex-spouse has to be at least 62. And if the divorce occurred more than 2 years ago, the ex does not have to have filed for benefits. If it's less than 2 years, the ex would have had to have filed for benefits. And this is always a big surprise. More than one ex-spouse can receive benefits on the same worker's record. Great story is Johnny Carson was married 4 times. 3 of his wives were married for 10 years or longer. One of them only was married for 9 years, so I'm sure she's kicking herself in the head for that. But each one of them were actually able to receive benefits based on Johnny Carson's income, except the last one, who was a widow. So she had survivor benefits, which were actually greater than the ex's divorce spouse benefits. The other key element is that your ex doesn't need to know that you're filing based on their pay history, nor does the other exes have to know. It doesn't impact anybody's benefit. It doesn't impact your exes. The only thing that you would need to make sure is that you have your divorce decree and have the ability to discuss that with Social Security Administration. They will need his or her Social Security number, and then they will actually be able to do the calculations based on that. The divorce spouse benefits will stop if the remarriage of the spouse who's collecting the benefits, not the ex. It will not impact your ability to collect those benefits. Survivor benefits. And this is pretty important, again, because we know that women live longer. The survivor benefits can be pretty broad-based, and especially if there are some dependent children involved and your spouse passes away and there's still children there. You must have been married, as you can see, for at least 9 months at the date of death, except in the case of an accident. And I believe that that figure is more like 2 months. It still has to be a period of time that you're married. But the survivor has to be at least age 60 if they're going to get a reduced benefit. But if they wait till their, here we go again, full retirement age, they'll be able to get the full benefit of the survivor benefit. Those benefits aren't available if the widower or widow remarries before age 60, or if someone is disabled, age 50, unless that marriage ends. And then even if you're divorced and your ex has passed away, and again, you were married at least 10 years or longer, you can even claim survivor benefits. And I've actually had a couple of clients where that has happened. It's been a great big surprise, and it also enabled them to pull those benefits in, and they could suspend taking their benefits until they got to the maximum benefit age of 70. And it was a tremendous transition financially for those individuals. So knowing this will make all the difference in terms of your planning. So here's an example. Say that both individuals are receiving benefits. Husband and wife are receiving benefits. As you can see, Joe's benefit's $2,000. Julie's benefit is $1,200, but Joe passes away. So once Julie notifies Social Security that he's passed away, she gets her benefit replaced by his full benefit. And it continues for the rest of her life. So it's important with couples, as you're doing this planning, and that's what I said in the second example, you don't want to plan, in an isolated situation. You want to be able to strategize and figure out what's going to be the best for both of you. So if it does make sense, if it's possible for at least the higher income earning spouse to delay taking their maximum Social Security benefit to age 70, then that means that the surviving spouse will be able to get 100% of that benefit for the rest of their life. So maximizing those benefits, there's different strategies around how to maximize for widows and widowers. I think the key element that you want to take away here is that waiting as long as possible to claim benefits. Now, that's not always going to be the case with everyone, but even if your full retirement age is 66 and 2 months and you wait until 68, that's going to mean that there's going to be about a 16% increase in that benefit. There's an 8% bump between age 66 or full retirement age, I would say, 8% annual bump between full retirement age and age 70. So if one can wait a bit of time, then that will help the surviving spouse. So just as a strategy, taking the higher benefit last, and if it makes sense to start taking the survivor benefit, take retirement benefit at age 62, which of course we know is reduced, and the survivor benefit can replace that retirement benefit. It's a great way for you to leverage on it because, again, the survivor benefit is going to be like your retirement benefit for the rest of your life. So that's another strategy that one can implement to try to leverage around the best way to start taking their benefits. Next, rule number 5. A lot of people don't know this, but if you're working and you're collecting benefits prior to your full retirement age, surprise, there's going to be an adjustment to your Social Security benefits. And that adjustment means you're going to have a reduction in your Social Security benefit. Many people are continuing to work some into their 70s. But what they don't realize is that if they start taking their benefits at 62, which is the earliest that you can take it, or 63, anytime prior to your full retirement age, there's going to be a reduction in your Social Security benefits. And this number changes year over year. So if you're working, you're going to see, for example, a reduction in your benefit, $1 of your benefits for every $2 that you earn over $17,000. Well, who can live on $17,000? So you know that that's going to be a big cut in those benefits. Now, the benefits do get adjusted by the time you get to your full retirement age, so they'll recalculate it. They don't take it and keep it forever. But if your intention is that you want to apply for this and start taking this as income, it's not going to happen in the same way that you think it will. So, again, thinking about that in terms of what makes the best and most sense for me to start taking this income. Now, the other impact of this, and that's called an earnings test, this applies to all benefits that are received before full retirement age, including retirement, spousal, and survivor benefits. So if you are working, your spouse passes away, you claim a survivor benefit prior to your full retirement age, let's just use 66 as an example, then there will be a reduction in the survivor benefits. So you still will get it back when you get to full retirement age, but that will impact what your income will actually be. And remember that in this case, the spousal, well, the survivor benefits are for lifetime, retirement benefits are for the lifetime. Spousal benefits are usually you want to utilize it as a strategy to get you over the hump to get to your full retirement age or your maximum benefit at age 70. If you're self-employed, as you can see here, it could make it subject to some additional scrutiny because people tend to be a little bit more creative in their reporting, their income reporting requirements, and so IRS might be kind of looking over your shoulder to find out, is that really what you earned? This is the other piece that I'm amazed that a lot of people are not aware of, that your benefits are taxable. A lot of individuals tend to think that, okay, I'm getting this money and I'm home free, but you have to pay taxes on that, even if that's your primary source of income. So let's assume you're single head of household, and you have total income of $75,000. Whatever your Social Security benefit is going to be, and this is whether you're working or not working, if you have income that exceeds this $34,000, up to 85% of your Social Security benefit will be taxable at the federal and the state level. So again, planning around that and making some assumptions that you're going to be getting that full benefit doesn't always work out that way. So some things to consider to minimize taxes on the Social Security benefit. These are just a few ideas. But for a lot of us who have been working over the years in an accumulation phase and building up our retirement accounts and other resources have not taken into consideration what the tax burdens will be. So there are some strategies that you can implement before you retire, such as putting money into a Roth 401k. Those are tax-free. Converting your pre-tax monies into Roth accounts. Delaying your Social Security benefit. That's going to reduce the number of years the benefits are subject to taxes. But you can also look at reducing your expenses. Taxes, Uncle Sam still kind of stalks us well past retirement. So if you've planned well for your retirement, then you also will want to plan what the other side of retirement looks like too. The bottom line is that Social Security is really too important for guesswork. You can't make assumptions that I'll just apply and it's just as easy as that. Unfortunately, a lot of people have found out when they apply or they talk to someone in the Social Security Administration, it is getting a little bit better, but oftentimes they're not really as competent as we would like them to be. And so it's important that you do your own due diligence and figure out what are the best strategies for you to implement. That's one of the things that we're here for. Here's some pages that I would also recommend that you go to. And online, if you have set up your Social Security account online, there's a tremendous amount of calculators, projection tools there, and lots of good insight about what makes the best sense for you in terms of applying, and a better understanding of how all of the Social Security benefits work. And I'm just focusing on the retirement piece, but there's a lot of other things that Social Security does, including disability benefits, which a lot of people would be taking advantage of if they're planning to be or anticipate to be off for longer than a year. Then Social Security disability is the only source of income that they can take at that point, as an example. So with that said, we're right up on our 1:30 or a half an hour time frame. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box or certainly reach out to us on an individual basis so that we can kind of walk you through what are the best strategies for you to implement. Everybody's situation is different. With that said, if there aren't any questions, we will be sending out the replay link, so you will have this available this afternoon, audio and the visual. And we look forward to having you on our next monthly webinar call, which next month will be about the Tax Act and Tax Law and Jobs Act. With that said, take care, and we look forward to hearing and seeing you guys again.